Welcome to Leading Your Team. I am Ruby Ribbon Director Sarah Q. I joined Ruby Ribbon on February 4th, 2019, so I have just passed my 2-year Rubyversary. I'm so excited to present this topic with you today because it's something that I find a lot of passion into. I have led professionally on the corporate level and as well as in a volunteer world and of course within my Ruby Ribbon community. One thing that I have found in the course of my past experiences is that there's often a little hesitation when you talk to leaders about sharing their secrets. If someone learns what they know or the tricks that they've picked up, then they might be replaced. When it comes to Ruby Ribbon, I encourage you to slap all of that out of your brain, okay? Focus on this. True leaders don't create followers, they create more leaders. And when it comes to Ruby Ribbon, if you keep that in mind, and as a true leader, you're creating more leaders, your empire will grow. And when that empire grows, you benefit. No one's replacing you, but you will reap the benefits. And if you are able to help someone who's not even in your downline become a leader, and together you're working to really bolster those leadership skills, Ruby Ribbon succeeds. And when Ruby Ribbon succeeds, we all succeed. We all grow. When we become a true household name that everybody knows, because let's face it, we're not quite there yet. How many of you come across women on a daily basis who have never heard of our company, right? We're not the Avon that's been around for decades or Tupperware, right? But we will be one day. And when we focus on right now creating more leaders, that's how we get to that level. That's how all of us, it's just exponentially grow, both personally and professionally. So let's dive right into what does it mean to leading your team? So let's start with, which would you rather be? Would you rather be a manager, which means a person responsible for controlling or administering all or part of a company or similar organization? I have the same face as my little emoji friend there. Or would you rather be a coach, which means to develop or support a person in achieving a specific personal or professional goal? I say yes to that one, right? So coach, don't manage. Being an effective leader means understanding that there is a big difference between coaching and managing. A coach is really going to have a more dynamic role than a manager will. A coach is going to be there to inspire their team to perform at that very best level, okay? And I want to just take a quick second to point out the reason I'm using coaching here as opposed to leadership. There's often these fine lines to walk in the professional world when you refer to someone as a leader of a team versus a manager. And sometimes they'll call themselves a leader, but their title says they're a manager, right? So where is that? And it kind of gets a little fuzzy. I want us to be very clear right now that we are not doing anything, and I'm not going to coach you on anything at all that relates to managing, because that is not how you're going to find success with Ruby Ribbon. We are going to instead focus on a coaching mentality, okay? And coaching and leading, in my opinion, are very much the same thing, but I think the coaching takes away that kind of gray area or hesitation that we might have because of past experiences. Let's go right into it, ladies. You do not have to be perfect, and you do not have to know everything. If you're like my beautiful friend there on the screen, which by the way, I used that picture with her permission, hesitantly, she gave permission. You are probably like, how can I possibly coach people if I don't know things? If I'm not perfect at it yet myself, if I have a bad month, how am I supposed to help my team do good, right? You do not have to be perfect, and you do not have to know everything. I'm just going to repeat that because it's so important that you understand that. And we're going to get into this in a few moments to explain why that's the case, but I need you to really submit in your head, you do not have to be perfect, and you do not need to know everything. But you do need to be coachable. Just like we need your team to be coachable, we need you to be coachable. We need you to be willing to always be learning. Always be learning, okay? When you are always learning, all of a sudden it doesn't matter if you know everything because you're willing to learn it. If you don't know it yet, you're willing to seek it out. You're willing to find what we need, right? You don't have to know everything because you are going to have a resource and a toolbox of people and things that can help you through those things, right? You're going to be able to know where to guide your teammate to go, or you're going to ask about it, right? Because we need to be vulnerable as coaches of our teams. As coaches of our teams, we're going to be the first ones to say, I don't know that answer, but I can find it for you. Or I don't know that answer, but let's find it together, right? That's okay. So be coachable yourself. Seek out ways to constantly learn and grow. The first place I'm going to recommend you go to for coaching is your sponsor or somebody in your upline, okay? Your sponsor has been around the block. You joined under that sponsor for some reason, right? There's got to be a particular reason why you chose to join under that person, because you could have joined under anybody. You could have joined a whole different company, but yet you chose Ruby Ribbon and you chose that sponsor. So something about them is appealing to you. Now, if for some reason you're not able to reach your sponsor, they've got their own stuff going on that they can't help you right now, whatever that looks like, don't be afraid to reach up in your upline, okay? I know for a fact I've got a good handful of people above my sponsor that if I reached out and said, hey, I need to do a three-way with a potential stylist today, my sponsor's not available, I don't know what to do, they would say, girl, get her on the phone, right? They would jump on that three-way with me with no problem, okay? So make those connections, build those relationships. And that leads us right into my next bullet point there of a fellow Ruby Ribbon stylist that you admire. Pay attention in the All Stylist group. Pay attention on trainings. Pay attention on the free Cami call. Maybe you heard Sheila last night on the free Cami call and you're like, man, I really like Sheila. She has such an amazing energy about her and I just really want to work with her. Reach out to Sheila then. Send her a message and be like, girl, I heard you on the free Cami call last night. I love your story. I was wondering if you might be interested in linking arms with me on this project. Or do you think you'd have time to do an accountability partner with me? Or how about just, hey, Sheila, I want to be your friend. I want to be part of your circle, right? It doesn't take much, ladies, but don't be afraid to link arms with another Ruby Ribbon stylist. The reason that I've seen the success I have in my business is because I wasn't afraid to do that. You'll hear a couple of people that I'll mention as we go through this presentation today. But the bottom line is, whether they're on your team or they're on a different team, we have amazing women in this company that will absolutely be there for you. I'll drop one right quick. Jill Benray. Her and I communicate quite regularly, almost every day. And if I didn't have Jill there to help coach me through some things and help me through some things I didn't know, I wouldn't be where I was at, right? So link arms with other stylists. Let's move on. Elaine Johnson from HQ. Absolutely fabulous. I love that woman. She does great trainings for us regularly. She will even do one-on-one coachings with you if you're associate director or above. If you haven't quite hit that level yet, don't worry, but still tune into trainings that she offers. She is fabulous. And she might even be open to a conversation with you if you send a message. I'm throwing her under the bus right now. I have not told her this. But if you had reached out to her and said, you know, I'm really interested in getting promoted to AD. Do you have a few tips and tricks that you can share with me or things like that? I bet you she'd be willing to share some with you because that's how amazing she is. The other options are seek out professionals, people who run coaching companies, okay? Now, a lot of these are going to have free components to them, but sometimes there is a fee for some of their trainings. So keep that in mind. There are plenty of free resources out there. Search YouTube, search Facebook, you'll find some free resources from all of these people, plus many, many more, okay? The 4 I picked are just 4 that I've personally gathered a lot of insight and knowledge and tips and tricks from. over my time in direct sales. They're in kind of a particular order, but before we get into those, I want to preface this by saying, pick the coaches that resonate with you, okay? When you pick your coach, you're going to come across some that are just not your style. And if that's the case, move on. Do not waste time on them just because Sarah Q said that they're a good coach. Don't do that, okay? Just because so-and-so says they're good doesn't mean it's going to be right for you, okay? So know yourself. Some of the coaches, when you listen to them talk, there be those really like in your face type of coaches. If that's not who you are, if that intimidates you, or if that makes you uncomfortable, move on, okay? We don't need to waste our time with that. If it's somebody who drops an F-bomb and you don't like swearing, or that makes you uncomfortable, or whatever that looks like, move on. Don't listen to that coach then, because you're not going to be fully open and coachable to the experience if something about that coach isn't the right fit for you, okay? Be picky. This is your time, okay? Again, I listed 4 on the screen there. I'm not going to go through each of them. They are in order. Those 4 are in order of my favorites, just personally speaking. And some of you might be thinking, girl, how am I going to find time for this? Always be learning. Find the time. I am telling you, find the time, okay? I live a very, very hectic schedule in my life, but personal development is not an optional thing in my life. So how do I find time for it? First of all, I admire all you readers out there. I just can't. By the time I get to sit down for the day, my brain is so fried that it doesn't work well for me, but I still take in the knowledge from books. I love Audible. I like letting the books get read to me, because then guess what? I can be playing an Audible book and learning while I'm taking a shower, while I'm doing dishes, while I'm driving in the car by myself somewhere. So I can find those pockets of time in my life that I can listen to it. This morning I woke up to about 6 inches of snow. But I was able to pop in some earbuds, and while I'm shoveling the snow, I was learning, okay? So find the time. You have pockets of time in your life you can do this, whether you're listening to an Audible book, whether you are listening to a credible YouTube channel, things like that. There are lots of these coaches out there. A lot of them have free YouTube videos that you can learn from. So, and there's many, many more coaches that I didn't share on here today. Search them out and find the ones that are the best fit for you. Let's get into some do's and don'ts of leading your team. So first, we mentioned this already, but do link arms with another leader, okay? This is so important. Don't assume that your team already knows something, okay? What do I mean by that? Not everybody is doing Ruby Ribbon full-time. Most of our people are not doing Ruby Ribbon full-time. Most of them have another job. They've got kids, they've got families, they're taking care of an elderly sick person, they've got pets, they've got medical issues of their own, they've got list, right? You get what I'm saying here, but don't assume they already know something. If there's a really good training coming up that you just know would be perfect for them, don't assume that they saw the email that went out from it. Don't assume that they saw the 20 Facebook posts you put about it. Don't assume that they got the text message from HQ. Don't make those assumptions. Just reach out again. Put it in your group chat, whatever you got to do. Hey, this is going on. If you're going about your business day and you're about to invite someone to the free Cami call, don't assume that your team remembers the free Cami calls tonight. Or let's back it up even further. Let's not assume that they even know what the free Cami call is. Let's not assume they know what FCC means, right? We can't assume that they know that. If they're a brand new stylist in this company and you say, don't forget the FCC's tonight, they're probably sitting there like, what in the world is an FCC? So take a moment to make sure that we're not making assumptions. If you're sending those messages anyway, send something to your teammates. Send them, hey girl, tonight's the free Cami call at 8 o'clock. I'm sending out some invites right now. Would you like me to would you like some sample wording so you can invite some ladies? Something like that, right? Or if it's in your group chat, just drop the wording. Just say, hey, I'm inviting to the Cami call right now. Here's the words I'm using. Who else is going to invite? Let's each invite 5 people, right? Just throw it out there. Don't assume they already know. The other thing is, even if it's someone that is normally your total rock star, they are on top of everything and whatever, don't assume that they know things, right? Because sometimes it's not a matter of do they actually like know the information, but do they remember it or whatever, right? If they've got a lot going on in their lives, because hello, I've been there recently, they got a lot going on in their lives, they might not remember that today's Sunday and it's a free Cami call day or something, right? So it doesn't hurt to send those little gentle reminders. And if they were already doing it, great. But if they weren't and your gentle reminder helped, even better, right? Do offer resources that your team can connect into, okay? So on the last slide, quickly going back, your do was to link arms with another leader. We've talked about some of those reasons and how linking arms with people across teams and things like that can be beneficial. But link arms with people within your own team as well. You'll see in this picture here, I have my 2 beautiful associate directors, Brandy Hershey and Tana Spade. Amazing ladies. If you have not met them yet, say hello to them, reach out to them because they're fabulous. We link arms together. We run the team together. It's not Sarah and Sarah's team, right? It's the 3 of us really working together to make things run nice and smooth. And so together, we are able to offer resources to our team that our teammates can connect into, like team parties, opportunity groups, trainings, things like that, right? And linking arms like that with my ladies has really been a benefit to me, because if I've got something going on, life is hectic, things are blowing up in my face, right? I can rely that Tana and Brandy have it covered, and they're going to still make sure that the team party is running, or they're going to make sure that XYZ is happening, right? So offer those resources, and this goes for my team as well. If my team is really having a hard month and they don't have time to facilitate posting into a party, they might just not do a party at all. But because we're offering team parties that they can connect into, all of a sudden they could still do a hostess, because it's not going to take as much time out of their day as it might have otherwise took. Now, they still have to participate. They still got to do something or they're not going to see success. But we were able to relieve some of that from their plate. But don't stress if you don't have those resources yet, okay? If you don't have those resources yet, go back to your sponsor or someone in your upline, or those stylists that you linked arms with from another team. Go to those people and say, hey, I'm looking to start doing an opportunity group. Do you already have something like that? If they say no, ask them, are you willing to create one with me? Can we work together to make this happen? If they say yes, are you willing to let my team connect in with you on this? And I'd love to contribute and help out with growing it. Utilize that group. I have another fantastic group, my Soha ladies. There's 10 of us in this accountability group, and we're all from different teams across the company, but we have been able to develop an amazing sisterhood and connection, and we've done a lot of these things together. Even though most of us, I think if not all of us actually, have our own separate team parties, or our own groups, or our own trainings, we're able to link arms together occasionally and do a massive team party that's got a lot of great giveaways or things like that, right? Or a really great, phenomenal training, like our Power Saturday training, where, it's going the whole day like this, and it's women from across the company again. It's not all the same team. So link arms and pool your resources together. It's going to help you, I promise. Look for the opportunities that you're able to help your stylists reach their goals, okay? Let's take a step back for a second. If I'm running for a huge goal and I want to hit this big promotion, say, If I went to my associate directors that I just mentioned to you, Tana and Brandy, if I said, girls, I'm really excited, I'm running for this goal, those two would be behind me the entire way. They'd be cheerleading me, pushing me. They'd be busting their butts to do whatever they could to help me hit my goal because they love me. We're great friends. That's who we are to each other, right? From a personal standpoint and from a business standpoint, we've got each other's backs, okay? But if I go to a different stylist, I've got other great stylists on my team. So if you're watching this, ladies, I love you and I'm not excluding you. But there are women on the team that they don't have the bandwidth or the skill or the network or the whatever to feel like they can help me hit my goal, right? Or maybe they just don't have the time or energy because they've got so much going on in their own lives that the idea of helping me hit a goal, like they just can't do that, right? But instead, if I'm very focused on them and how it helps them hit their goals, in turn, it's going to help me hit my own. So let's take a look at examples. If I sent this message to one of my girls, hey, Heather, I remember that you told me you had that extra car bill this month, that the repair bill you got to pay for. Did you know you're super close? If you sold just 4 more camis this month, you would be able to get a pay increase. So you'd have at least $375 in your pocket at the end of the month. I bet you that would really help with your car bill, right? How can I help? Or what plan do you have to sell those 4 camis or whatever, right? I always like to end with a question because it prompts a response. If I just end with a statement, they have no reason to respond to me, right? So by me asking, do you have any ideas of how you can sell those 4 more camis, right? I'm engaging a coaching conversation with her because she might reply back and say, actually, yes, I'm starting a party and blah, blah, blah. And she's good. Great, girl. Let me know if I can cheer you on or let me know if I can help you, right? But if she comes back and says, I have no clue. I don't have any parties booked. I'm super busy. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, shoot, now this is your opportunity to step in and be like, totally get it. Let's just look to see if I can, or are you open to me helping you make a plan? Things like that, right? You can help kind of flip that conversation by asking the right questions. Don't try to do it for them. This was a mistake I've made so many times in my life. You can't do it for them. The only thing that you will accomplish by trying to do it for them is you feeling frustrated and defeated. Instead, match their efforts, okay? Say that again, match their efforts. Matching their efforts is a trick that I have learned from my sponsor, Kayla Rutan, early on in my career with Ruby Ribbon. And what does that look like? Okay, if I have someone who, let's take the previous examples. Let's say I had reached out to Heather and I, hey, you've got this car repair bill, blah, 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 blah. And let's say she ghosts me. In a couple days, I send her a message. Hey, girl, I know life's busy. Have you gotten a chance to look at my message above yet? It's super exciting, right? And she still ghosts me, right? And maybe I try again a 3rd time and she still ghosts me. I'm not going to continue to waste my time and energy on that, okay? I don't care if that sounds harsh. Match their efforts. Maybe right now is just not a good time for her. She's got life is blowing up in her face and she just can't right now. Respect that. And when she's ready, she'll reach back out. If she doesn't reach back out, then you haven't wasted your time, but you're also, it's about respecting where she's at as well, and it's respecting yourself. It's creating healthy boundaries for yourself. You've already shown that you're available to help her, but now it's up to her to accept the help, right? This can go a little differently too. I've seen stylists in this company that have passed their leader. So, all of a sudden, if you're sitting here and you're thinking, wow, how in the world am I supposed to help or match the efforts of this girl? She's consistently selling at Ruby level or above. She's growing her team. She's doing phenomenal, but I'm not there. Remember back to what we talked about a few minutes ago. When you've linked arms with another stylist in this company, whether you become just friends with them or whatever, think of those people. I'm going to pick on Carmen Flores because she's on the screen right now. If I had a girl like I just described, I might say, girl, you are on fire. I'm so proud of you. I know this other stylist in the company who is phenomenal, just like you, and she had a lot of great success, and I just think you guys would really get along, and you might be able to help each other out. Would you be open to me connecting the two of you, right? Those type of connections can mean all the difference in the world on getting you to the right place, okay? And helping your stylist get to the right place, because now they have someone that they can communicate with. Remember what we said at the start. You don't need to be perfect and you don't need to know everything. But knowing who to connect her to so she can get that help, you're the hero now, right? And you might even turn out to be the hero to Carmen, because Carmen might have been looking for someone that she could run alongside of, right? So be open-minded to those things. I'm going to give you a bonus due. A bonus due kind of correlates with one we already talked about, but when you're linking arms with people, do recognize your areas for improvement, okay? Amanda Taylor, who's also on the screen right now, Amanda and I are BFFs. We didn't know each other before Ruby Ribbon. She lives in the other side of the country. She's in Idaho, and I am in Michigan, okay? So the likelihood of us ever crossing paths in our life is slim to none. But Ruby Ribbon brought us together. She joined the company just a couple weeks before me. We met through the All Stylist community page, and it did not take long for us to connect and to start communicating and realizing that where she's strong, I'm weaker, and where I'm strong, she's weaker. And by both of us being willing to acknowledge those weaknesses and acknowledge the other person's strengths, man, do we create a powerhouse team. Separately, we are both strong, brilliant, powerful women. And that's not to brag, it's the truth, ladies. You put us together and we are unstoppable. The problems that we've been able to solve together, the innovation we've been able to come up with together is bar none. But it's because we weren't afraid to recognize our own weaknesses. We weren't afraid to reach across, down lines, the lines, and we just work our butt off in our business, okay? So do those things. And let's just talk about what would happen if you do those things. Let's look at some statistics, okay? When you follow this training, you will become a better leader for your team, and your team is going to grow massively because of it, okay? Let's look at our graph on the right. Successful teams. People who ignored this training that were successful, 0.5%. People who took the advice of this training and were successful, 99.5%, baby. I'll just guide you quickly to the fine print at the bottom of the screen. The stats shown on the slide are 100% made up, but for real, you got this, ladies. Ladies, let's take a look, one last thought before we part ways together. The aha moments that I've had in this company is that the reason people join our team is not the reason they stay. I have done surveys many times, worded differently, and always end up with the same responses. The reason people join our company usually is because of money, whether they want extra money or need extra money in their lives, it's money. 2, they fell in love with the product and they want more of it at a discount. Number 3, you'll usually hear some sort of a mention of helping other women into it. Most times, but not all. Most times it's thrown in because there's a level of guilt. We're not supposed to tell people that we want more money and that's why we're doing this, and we're not supposed to say blah, 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 right? It's a level of obligation or guilt that we're trying to overcome here. But regardless, why do women stay in Ruby Ribbon? Again, lots of surveys worded differently. It always comes back to these top 3 answers with a couple other that trinkle afterwards. The top 3 answers. Number 1 is always the sisterhood. You get a tribe of women that love and support you and care for you when you're with Ruby Ribbon. That's what they love. That's why all those relationship building things that we've talked about in this training are so important. Because at the end of the day, people are everything, right? And our sisterhood together is just unbreakable. Number 2 is the feeling that they get when they help other women. The feeling they get when they help other women. Third reason is the confidence boost that they get. Notice money was not in any of those three, but each of those three things ties to money, absolutely ties to money. Think about it. The feeling that they get when they know that they helped another woman. They're still selling to women. They're stepping them into camis, right? So they're making some money. The confidence boost that they get, a lot of times that comes from all of a sudden they've been able to make money to pay some bills that they couldn't pay before, to get out of debt, to take their family on a vacation, or whatever that looks like, right? But the money is not the part that they're focusing on. They're focusing on, I did it. I did that, right? Or maybe it's the confidence that they get from our clothing, helping them, feel better and look better in their clothes, and that's giving them confidence boost and things like that. But the reasons they joined is not the same reasons that they'll end up giving you why they stay around. Even if they're not your rock star, the 80% of your team who's not running for huge goals and all that, that makes up a big chunk of your team's total sales, right? So they're important to keep, and building those relationships is what's going to do it. I'm going to share a story real quick. One of the ladies pictured in that bottom photo, she's in my downline, and we joke because she always tells us she just wants to stay in the club. That's her goals with Ruby Ribbon. She wants to stay in the club. And you know why she wants to be in the quote club? The sisterhood. She loves the sisterhood she gets from us. So ladies, I'm going to leave you with this last thought here. Leadership is a choice that you make. It's not a place you sit. It's not just a title. So I don't care if you're a brand new stylist listening to this call today, you have the choice to be a leader or not. You don't need to be called an associate director, a director, an associate vice president, a vice president, any of those. You don't need any of those titles to be a leader in this company. I can tell you from my own personal experience, I was recognized as a leader within Ruby Ribbon long before I had the title of leader in this company, because I was building relationships. I was reaching across the lines and building those relationships, not just in my own team, but outside of that. I was sharing my tips and tricks with others, and they were willing to share with me because I shared with them, okay? It's all about a two-way street, always learning, always willing to put yourself out there and building those relationships. That's going to make you successful. Thank you so much for participating today in this training. I hope you've learned something from it, and I look forward to seeing you grow and succeed with Ruby Ribbon. Bye-bye.